It's time to turn this mess of blue wires into a functioning security camera system. By the end of this video, we'll be able to document us getting stuck in the driveway, multiple species animal encounters, porch pirates, and everything in between. Oh my gosh. All in 4K high definition. All of our Reolink cameras are installed, hooked up, and ready to go. Now it is time to work on the inside portion of this. I'm gonna take this big bundle of blue Cat 6 wires, hook it up to our Reolink NVR, and hopefully by the end of this video, have a little temporary security monitoring station in this corner that we can view all of our cameras from. I ran all these in the low voltage wiring video, and now it is finally time to do something with them. I'm really excited to get this going. Of course, this is our power over Ethernet camera system from Reolink, and they've graciously supplied the components of the system for us to install. Now we just have to actually do it. So we've got to terminate all these cables. And I'm realizing now that some I did not leave myself like any slack at all. I don't know what I was thinking there. Some I have a good 2 foot of slack or so. But these all go to a respective camera, some close, some far, some indoor, some outdoor. And this is going to be the central hub. Our NVR, our network video recorder, is going to sit basically a big hard drive that collects all of the data from the cameras 24/7, records all the video, and displays it in a nice way that you can see, and also connects to the internet so that you can pull it up on your phone or anywhere you're at on a browser or whatever, with the most important part being no subscription fees. We love that it is not on the cloud. It's all on the hard drive here, and we can access that hard drive through the internet. So I feel it's a lot more reliable than cloud storage or purely wireless cameras that just rely on a monthly subscription and a server somewhere in a data center storing all of your information. We labeled all these like utility cam, front garage, so that we would know where they all run to without having to test them all. And they're all gonna get a termination, just like this one. This is the first one we did for the driveway cam, just to test that it worked because it was a crazy long run. But now it's time to terminate all the rest of them and get them all hooked up. Here's the hard drive. It's their 16 channel, 4 terabyte. So it's got literally 16 Cat 6 ports on the back that it can power all these cameras from. USB port to hook a mouse into, HDMI to run to our TV, which we're gonna have a big entertainment center on this wall eventually, and this will be housed in a cabinet and kind of hardwired to the TV. And then the LAN port, so it goes right to your router, and that's what beams all of your camera signals out to the internet and allows you to access them from your phone or a computer from a different location. So this will be the heart of the system that all of our cameras will connect to. While I work on the terminations, Elena's over here with our little wireless label maker. This thing's pretty handy. She's making more permanent labels for each of the wires, something better than my masking tape and Sharpie number. This thing makes it really, really easy and quick though.
Print label.
What's this one? Office one?
Print now. And here we go.
Would you look at that? Easy as that. Which one do you think looks better?
Alex on his nice makeshift kneeling pad, using some styrofoam up. Second life.
There's our little flag. I went over how to terminate these in more detail in the camera install videos, but I'll brush over it here just again quick. Slide the boot on, strip the cable back a couple inches. Spread out all the innards, snip the ripcord, snip the center spline, untwist all the conductors, straighten all the conductors, line them all up according to the T568 pinout diagram, snip them all flush, thread them through the pass-through style connector, double check that all the colors stayed in the right order, put it through the crimp tool, finally crimp it down. And there's your finished Cat 6 connection. Takes just a couple minutes. Elena kindly offered up her cable terminating services for the next hour or so while I enjoyed a beverage and a snack. Elena's working on the rest of the terminations, and I am doing our little extension cords for the 2 that are really short. We have these keystone jacks here. These are typically what goes in a wall plate, but they're basically the female version of a Cat 6 port. Although they don't have the nice fancy boot on there, they still get the job done. So it's the same kind of deal. You line the wire up in the appropriate slot, and actually it's labeled right on there which one you want for both A and B protocol. We're using B. The slot on the end of this little stripper tool that came with the kit is used to punch down in each one of these 8 slots, and that's what creates the connection. It slits the wire insulation and connects it to the jack. Then this cap snaps on, and you officially have a female Ethernet port without a strain relief boot, so it can't be for any like durable purpose, but for something just to hook up to all these cameras, it will work just fine as a little extension cord. That was a good way to repurpose the cord that came with the camera, because each one of them comes with like a 3-foot long Ethernet cord. All the terminations are done. Now let's set up our command station. So we're using our Craig table temporarily here, which is an awesome little table, by the way. And it's got a bottom shelf we can set the NVR on, and the top we will put the TV on. A little bit tight back here, as you can see, but it's all gonna be worth it to get our cameras up and running. I'm gonna have to dig back here again anyway when I do the receptacles, but it's a project for another day. Not sure if this matters the order or anything, but I guess you could always swap them around. Driveway. I have to get this raised up a little bit. Comes with a mouse, which is kind of handy. Just plugs into the back or the front. USB port. Driveway. Front door. This box is still a little bit of an open question. I would love to hear in the comments, for those of you who've done this before, what you did for this. I've seen these little brush plates that go over this where all the cables come out. I've seen full out panels in the wall where people terminate a bunch of female outlets to and then use little patch cables to the NVR. Because we're building out a full media wall here, I didn't want to do that necessarily. So I think I'm going to try to air seal this the best I can with some putty. This is my spare conduit going up to the attic, and I'm going to put some tape over that just to seal that up. And this conduit goes to the TV box, so eventually that will get an HDMI or something there. But what would you do here? Would you mount an external enclosure on the outside of this? Would you just run this into the back of the media wall cabinet and make a setup for it? Let me know. It just so happens I have the renderings right here for what that media wall will eventually look like. So we're gonna have a cabinet over top where that box is sitting right there. It's just a question of how everything's gonna play out inside that cabinet, whether I'm gonna do another metal like rack mount style enclosure, or if I'm just gonna have a shelf with all this stuff sitting there and the cables bundled up in the back. Not quite sure about that yet. Got my TV on, now I just need to flip the switch back here. Fan has come to life. Now, I'll be honest, this is not the very first time we're firing this up. I did do a little test run just to kind of get my bearings on the interface of the software. I named all the different cameras so you have an idea of what we're looking at, and played around with everything a good bit. It's really fun to play around with the PTZ cameras and play back all the wildlife of things walking around in the middle of the night. This is gonna be a little bit of a haphazard camera setup for this because I could not figure out a good way to like screen record the output of this and still be able to use the user interface, because a mouse hooks up to the NVR so you can navigate around. So I got this little camera recording the TV, I got my iPhone recording me, and Elena is gonna be playing around outside with the GoPro, and I'm gonna be tracking her, and we're just gonna have some fun and see what we can do with these things. So first of all, on the setup of these, there really wasn't much setup. They just plug in and start streaming. There was really no connection process for the hardwired cameras. The only one that actually had a login and connection process is the PT Ultra, which we connected in the last video. Ooh, fun noises. However, that camera is independent of all these hardwired ones. It basically functions as its own little standalone device, and it is only triggered on motion detection. Otherwise, its battery would go dead if it was recording 24/7. But here's all our cameras plugged in. These things are live and recording now. This is our utility cam, which is not plugged in right now. But let's see if we can play around with one of these things. The resolution is really impressive, honestly. Even this is just the 823 with no zoom on it. And you can just inch it around in little increments, arrows in every direction, including the diagonal directions, and then it does zoom as well. Now the zoom on this one is not nearly as crazy as the driveway cam. We'll show that in just a little bit. That is insane amount of zoom, and it is crystal clear once everything gets all focused up. One thing I think is really cool on these is you can set like a monitor point where it will go back to the place you had it set at. So in this case, this is just kind of looking over the driveway. There's an interval for auto return. If you mess around with the PTZ function, how long it takes to get back to this point, you can set that timer. Another neat thing they have is this patrol function where the camera will actually toggle around to various spots that you set, and it will stay there for predetermined intervals. If you have a PTZ cam with a bunch of different areas that you want to monitor that aren't all within the same field of view, the patrol feature could be pretty handy. We're using it on our front door cam for monitoring both the driveway, looking straight down at the front door, and looking out into the side yard. You can check in the settings to record audio for these as well, and you can listen to live audio. I can't talk through this as far as I know, but I can talk through my phone, through the app, through the camera. What are you doing out there?
I'm putting the compost in the pile.
There's an option to turn on and off the LED spotlights manually, and you can also set in the settings to make them motion triggered. We just leave them off, honestly, because they are a little bit annoying when it's like night and you're walking the dog and the spotlight comes on bright in your face. But another key light these have are infrared spotlights, which the human eye cannot pick up at night, but it allows the camera to see really well at night too. This is how we've been getting some really awesome recordings of animals out in the driveway that Elena just absolutely loves spending time logging into before we go to sleep to check the previous night's raccoons, deer, fox, and everything else that's prancing around out in the driveway. Speaking of the driveway camera, this is what that view looks like. This is the same style camera as what's hanging from our front soffit, looking at the main part of the driveway. But this camera I've set up motion alerts for, so anytime a car comes up the driveway past this camera, we get a notification on our phone, which is really handy. And this is the 16x zoom camera, so it can zoom in like crazy. We turn it around at the house, we can look up at the cars and easily read the license plate details of the cars sitting on our driveway. It's really, really impressive how focused and clear this is, even at maximum zoom. I'm gonna zoom it around to our front yard, and there just so happens to be a little birdhouse way back in the woods with some writing on it. And we're gonna see if we can actually see this thing. You probably can't even see where the birdhouse is at this point, but this camera's got this little 3D zoom function where you can literally draw a small box around whatever you wanna zoom in on. I actually can't even see it on the screen right now where this thing is. Oh, there it is. Check this thing out. I'm just drawing this little blue box around where I wanna zoom in on. I mean, that is insane. The Penn State birdhouse can be read from, that is over 300 feet away from the camera, and it is pretty darn crisp. This is definitely the camera I'm most impressed with out of this whole system because that optical zoom is just insane. And just like the other one, when you're ready to go back, hit this return to monitor point button and boom, zooms right back to the driveway. Elena's gonna go do a little bit of hiking outside, and we're gonna do a little bit of surveillance on our end to see if we can track her in the yard.
All right, we're gonna start walking around the front of the house and see what the camera does.
All right, let's see if it tracks her. Yep, it locked on. So this thing does do auto tracking. I'm not doing anything with the mouse right now, and it is just doing its thing. It'll track animals, vehicles. You can change what type of thing you want it to track, and you can also set detection zones in the software where if there's something in that zone, it will not track it. So if there's like a busy street or something outside your camera and there's constantly cars going there all day, you don't want the camera trying to focus on that. So you can like block that section out, which is really handy.
I am a delivery truck of some sort. So I'm driving up, driving up, driving up. Park the car. Get out, got my package, and I'm carrying it to the door. Delivery for you, kind sir. I wonder if Alex can talk back to me. Alex, can you talk back to me? Can you hear me? I think he has to use his phone to say anything, so he's probably gonna have to.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, okay, now I can hear you.
There's so much microphone feedback.
I know, why is it doing that?
There's two microphones repeating back and forth to each other.
Oh.
You can empty the compost out.
Oh, I didn't bring that down with me. I have to go back up.
All right, I'll bring it down to the stairs.
I'll bring it down the stairs.
Over and out.
Hello.
We have a delivery.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna head down to the driveway camera and check that one out.
She's walking down the driveway now, so I'm gonna switch cameras and see if we can track her.
It's quite a walk. It's really nice and sunny. It's probably the warmest day that we've had in the winter. I'm ready to start gardening, that's for sure. I'm done with the cold.
I can hear her talking. I've got the sound on this one.
Let's see if the camera follows us. So first, we're gonna see it catch us. I'm gonna just walk straight. All right, now I'm gonna turn around, pretend like I'm a car walking up, or a person walking up the driveway. Let's see if it will follow me. It should follow me. And there it goes. It's tracking me.
Yep, it's tracking her all the way around.
The camera is following me. All right, now we're gonna head over to the compost bin. I got the compost with me, and we're gonna see if Alex can see us on the camera that's by the compost bin.
It did a really nice job tracking her in a full 180. I haven't figured out how to get it to do quite as well with vehicles because the vehicle's so much quicker, but it might just take a little bit more fine tuning. I'm not sure, I haven't played around with it enough yet. Let's switch to the deck cam. This is a sneak peek to the deck, which is already done. We haven't released any videos on this yet, but we will have a full 5-video series on this whole deck. Now this camera is the Duo 3V, which is 2 cameras with the images sort of stitched together, so it gives you a full 180-degree field of view. You can see all the way from one quarter of the house to the other. This soffit was like the perfect spot to mount this because it's right centered in the house, and it does a great job of seeing the entire backyard.
Alex, can you see me?
I can sound an alarm. We have a burglar! George, get him!
Loud.
It's really loud. Our guard dog has been alerted that there is a burglar at the door. Get her, George, get her! Get her! Elena's task in the backyard is to empty the compost into our compost pile. We mounted our little Argus PT Ultra backyard cam right above the compost pile so we could spy on any critters that were trying to dig into it. So I'm gonna try to play around with this and see if we can track her. Oh, she's dancing. She's doing the YMCA. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She's an absolute goober. Absolute goober.
We're back in action. Alex is able to see me on the camera now.
Yep, we got her. We've got the compost thief.
Got my compost. We're gonna take it over
What are you doing out there?
to, I'm putting the compost in the pile. I'm creating beautiful, healthy soil for our plants. I'm not gonna lie, this compost pile does not smell good. It needs some more brown material. Can you see me? I'm probably doing so bad at filming this.
Yes, I can.
The audio is so incredibly clear.
Nice.
Boobs.
Baby, we already did this joke. It's not as funny the second time.
Nice butt.
If we put this on the chicken coop, we could talk to the chickens. It would probably freak them out. Okay, should I go to the back door?
Go for it.
Okay. Back door we go. Look at that cutie boy waiting by the door. Georgie, are we gonna build you a fence this year? Oh, sweet boy.
So that was our little tour day cameras. Now the part we've all been waiting for, which is all of the ridiculous animal encounters that we've caught on camera, mostly on the driveway camera.
Tonight on America's Funniest Home Videos.
And here I am, my frickin' paw's about to freeze off, and Mildred sends me to dig through more garbage in the middle of a snowstorm. I feel like if Bob Marley were still here to see this, he would have something to say. Not exactly sure what though. All right, boys, hightail it out. We're under attack! We're under attack! It's an ambush! It's an ambush! Ugh, smells like stinky raccoons and birds here. Guess I better leave some stink too. Man, another long night of hunting, no catches. I guess you know how the saying goes. If I fits, I sits. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, just bopping down the lane. Hey. You see that, Rick? When she sends you that I miss you text, even though you're already halfway home. I'm sorry, these are getting completely out of hand and Lena's looking at me like I'm a crazy person. This is just a good old-fashioned case of a two-wheel drive truck trying to make it up a snowy hill. Now we're stuck lugging up packages of who knows what along with the wild dog. But have no fear, here comes the skid steer. I didn't have any tow straps, so 2 ratchet straps did the job. I wish you could see Elena's face as those ratchet straps are just barely hanging on as I'm pulling it up and she's steering. But hey, got the old two-wheel drive Frontier up the snowy hill, mission accomplished. Sorry these last videos are a little lower quality, they got saved off her phone. Just a cat crossing the driveway, minding my own business. What the f? Who are you? Who are you? Alright, I'm gonna slowly walk around you, and nobody gets hurt if you don't move.
He got beat up really bad.
15-year-old Octavius is on the rebound following a run-in with a rabid raccoon.
This is not the only cat and raccoon encounter that we've caught on this camera. Unfortunately, we didn't save the first time we saw it, but 2 raccoons literally ganged up on a single cat. I think they just kind of stumbled across each other's paths in the middle of the driveway, but the cat went into full defense mode, the raccoons went into full defense mode, and they were just 2-on-1 staring like probably 6 inches from each other's face for a good 10 solid seconds until I think they just slowly backed away. By the time we thought to save that footage, we were too late and the NVR had already recorded over itself. It had been over 10 days. So if you ever see anything on your NVR that's worth recording, make sure you snap that right away or else you forget about it. Quick note on the file export process. All you got to do is stick a USB drive into the front of the NVR. In my case, I have a micro SD in this adapter, but the NVR will export full res files straight to that USB drive. The interface is pretty straightforward. It gives you these little chopstick start and end points where you want to start and end. The only glitch I've found is when you zoom in on the timeline, these don't stay at the same point. Let's say I want to capture these 2 clips right here, and I want to zoom in with the plus button to refine that a little bit more. Well, when I zoom in, I lost them. Now those clips are over here, they shifted. It's only when I zoom out where they come back in within the playheads. Where in contrast, something like Adobe Premiere, wherever you set that playhead, as much as you want to zoom in, it stays at the same exact point in that video. Your video never changes. Overall though, I'd consider that a pretty minor bug in the grand scheme of things. One other really cool feature on this is the time-lapse feature. So you can actually pick like a long chunk of time and it will pick the images out at the frame rate that you specify. For people like me that make videos and want to capture long periods of time in a short time period, it actually makes my job quite a bit easier than exporting that full-length 4K file. I'd much rather be working with a 30-second file rather than a 30-hour long file. So that's a wrap on the camera system. Really happy with this whole setup. We still have some playing around to do with the NVR to really learn the system really well, but it's very intuitive. Setup was extremely easy. Literally just plug the cameras in and they start working. Can't ask for anything more than that. I hope this video helped you in your camera journey. As always, thanks for watching and we'll see you on the next one.